What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Patterson Report podcast. As always, I'm Brandon. He's Ryan. And just the way we all predicted, it would be the end of April. We had pretty much a couple shows worth of draft rundowns to go through. Never in a million years thinking we would be in the situation we find ourselves in. We've gotten pretty accustomed in Philly these last few years of pinning our championship hopes on the Phillies and the Eagles. One has pretty consistently come through for us. The other has been a source of pain and heartbreak. But the Sixers have had very low expectations from within the city for quite a while. No one's really checked in on them. Ticket prices for home games are down around $40. Flyers, their fans are forever loyal and rabid. So the filling the arena has never been a problem, but most talk shows, ours included, we're guilty of it. Haven't talked about the Flyers really since COVID. The last time they made the playoff, and you can count that year as legitimately as you want. I am of the belief that they haven't made the playoffs in 16 years, but that's neither here nor there. Both teams in the playoff right now. The Flyers were the third hottest team in hockey after the Olympics. They rightfully earned their place in a first-round matchup with the Penguins, which we're going to get to. The Sixers had to go through the play-in, and they beat an extremely scrappy Magic team last night, and they are lined up against Boston in the first round. So who'd have thought that the talk of the town in Philadelphia sports in April would be the playoff-bound Sixers and Flyers?
Nobody. I mean, nobody at all. You'd think it'd be, the draft's heating up, and the Phillies are hot. We're going to talk about them later. But it's insane how this town is complete 180 with the Flyers and the Sixers, and now we're here. The hope or the cope is a little higher for the Flyers than it is for the Sixers going against Boston. We know what's going to happen, but Sixers and 6, man. What can I say? But
it could. I'm with you, and you jumped me a little bit, but we'll get to that. We'll start off with that note because it is both teams. I think are pretty similar in the sense where the Flyers are ahead of schedule. I'm not going to say they're the 22 Phillies just yet because that team was still more talented than this Flyers team. They were just a little bit ahead of the curve. This Flyers team really should have been maybe a season, maybe two away from where they are right now. They're extremely young, first-year head coach, a goalie off the discount rack, some guys coming back, from injury. I mean, Forrester was hurt almost the entire year. He comes back in the meaningful minutes, is red hot. Like, there's just a lot of weird things with this team that don't usually work out. So the Flyers are a fun story. They're ahead of schedule. But then you have the Sixers where you have a team that has all the potential in the world. But if you look at the way their season shook out, they probably shouldn't be here either. I mean, they had to play a vast majority of their season with Tyrese Maxey plus a rookie. Now, you had some moments of Paul George, about 30 games of Joel Embiid. But who's to say the Sixers should be a playoff team? Like I said, it was a two-man show, and one of those guys was a rookie. So with both of these teams being kind of unexpectedly in the playoffs, are you saying in your mind the Flyers probably have the better odds, or it kind of seemed like the prevailing wisdom, even beyond just you? I don't know if it's the matchup. I mean, obviously the Celtics have had the Sixers number for quite a while. We've all kind of been heartbroken there. The Pens are obviously a force to be reckoned with this year for a young upstart Flyers, but hockey could be a little bit more momentum-based and less talent-based. So where do you land? If you had to put all your eggs in a basket, is it the Flyers or the Sixers?
Oh, it's the Flyers. I mean, they call Celtics Sixers a rivalry, but it's been anything but the past how many or so years since Irvin played. So.
Yeah, he's the last one to beat him. I would say that 2012 Sixer team that took them to 7 that felt like a rivalry series. But you're right.
Yeah.
Since then, they've kind of had our number.
Yeah, they kind of had our number, and that whole debacle in Game 6 where they just completely sold a couple of years back with Harden, one of the Harden squads. That hurts, but man, it just feels like the Celtics are just going to go further. And as much as I love the Sixers, it kind of feels like it's going to be a breakup between them and Joel Embiid, and like it feels like there's this whole mess that we have to encounter. Where the Flyers is just good vibes and like pure Phillies from a couple of years back.
Yeah. You have a lot, like I said, you have a lot of young guys. Porter Mantone obviously has had some huge moments. Forrester's had some huge moments. Mitchkov has had such a I don't want to say a difficult year because he's shown some progress, but he's been the topic of so much conversation where he and Talk haven't quite found a way to work together the same way he and Torts couldn't really work together. If you watch enough of the games, you can see where he still exists outside of the offense sometimes, but he seems to be fully bought in. The last few games down the stretch, probably the last 5 or 6 games at least, there seems to be a shift where he's kind of falling in line a little bit more, shining when he can, but not trying to do it himself and play hero ball, hero puck, I guess. And Vladar has been an absolute revelation. We don't really have a solid second goalie. Ursan's been average at best, but boy, oh boy, do we have a starter. Vladar has just been absolutely nails for this team. You look at that clincher where start off down 2, some Flyers the guys that I really like Russ Joy had a point. He was like, look, at this point, pull Vladar. Let's go all in on the Montreal game. He just keeps you in games. He held it to 2-0, let the guys kind of gain some steam, and then just pitched an absolute masterpiece. Overtime, took a bunch of shots, and then you look at that. You look at the shootout, and he was just a stone wall every single time, and it was a microcosm of what he means to this Flyers team because they are young and they do make mistakes. But if you have Vladar back there, he just buys them time. And then eventually they'll start putting it together. Eventually they'll poke one by, and that's how they won a lot of these games. So you're right. They're young. They're exciting. They have a lot of momentum, and they have a great goaltender. And in hockey, that's a pretty decent recipe. And they're red hot. Like I said, third hottest team in hockey. So if the first half was what it was, but really since the Olympics, this is the team they've been, and they can hang with everybody. Sixers are a little different. Very up and down. When they're hot, when they're full, when they're together, and Joel's healthy, PG's balling, yeah, they could beat everybody. We're all getting a little bit tired of waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, Paul George signing was nice when it happened. Edgecombe's been a great rookie pick, but it just feels like their ceiling is the play-in. It hurts to say it at this current moment with the GM and front office that they have. Maxey and Edgecombe could take them further in the future, but right now it kind of feels like the ceiling.
Yeah, and it's a little bit. The health thing is a big part of it, and I want to give. I don't know if you're able to watch the play-in game with the Magic, but I will say I want to give PG his flowers a little bit. Has he missed way more time than any Sixers fan would have wanted him to when he signed? 100%. This wasn't what we were sold. But in that play-in game, I saw more out of him than I've ever seen from Tobias Harris in the playoffs. He was phenomenal on defense. When you need a tough bucket, he just has that smoothness about him where, they're keying in on Maxey. VJ's a rook. You just need somebody to stop the bleeding. And he had a beautiful turnaround jumper in the fourth that did exactly that. And that wasn't Tobias. You couldn't dump the ball off to him and say, look, just bail us out. He didn't have that. So PG in one playoff game has made me more confident than Tobias ever has. But again, you're right. The overall, he missed half the season. Joel missed half the season. Like we just, we can't keep having that. But I think they'll give Boston a series. What I liked about that Orlando game, if you're a longtime Sixer fan, we come up small in big moments. That team played their ass off in the fourth. They pulled away in big moments. So that was at least encouraging to see.
Yeah, it was encouraging, but also Orlando is kind of like a franchise that's probably going to hit the self-destruct button. They traded all those picks for Desmond Bain. It hasn't worked out. They haven't gelled him, Franz, and Paulo. Paulo's been kind of high-key struggling.
Mediocre. Desmond Bain has been, and we don't watch a lot of Orlando ball, so I'm not. Desmond Bain's been phenomenal this season for Orlando.
Yeah, so not to take away from the Magic, but like they haven't really reached their ceiling either, and who knows what's going to happen there. It's all messy. They traded away all those picks, something the Sixers didn't, thank goodness. But
we overspend in free agency like gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do. We do it the right way. But yeah, Orlando is kind of dysfunctional right now, where the Celtics have been this cog of stability for however long in the East, back as long as I can remember, excluding those down years after they traded KG and Paul Pierce. So it's going to be a tougher challenge. I'd probably pick the Celtics in 5 or 6, probably 6. My homerism is giving me 6.
I'm hoping for 6. I mean, I see your point. I think 5 is realistic. I just don't. And we'll get back to the Flyers in a second because it's worth bringing up. I can talk myself into. And this Flyers team can stay hot and get by the Pens. It can happen. There's a path. As big of a homer and Sixer fan as I am, I'd be lying to you if I sat here and went, this team can win 4 out of 7 against Boston. I would just be lying.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you gotta balance the hope and the cope,
Yeah.
Well, 1 for 1. And I'm hoping with the Flyers because obviously, like you said, great young team, all vibes. They're going to, keep getting more experience, and this playoff experience, no matter what happens, is nice for them. It's a win-win scenario. We can't lose. And, they're going to win the whole thing. Fantastic. Blew our expectations out of the water. The Sixers, it's like, them again.
Yeah, you're right. It does. And when you watched, now I will say I'm gonna keep calling the Wells Fargo Center because I keep forgetting. I know it's the Xfinity Mobile Arena, but who cares? It was rocking last night, and it was $38 to $50 tickets, so you're getting the true fans. Great game, high octane fourth quarter, like the perfect storm for a Sixers home game. And if anybody watched that Flyers game where they clinched, it wasn't even close. Flyer fans don't get the respect that Eagle fans get. They are right up there. Flyers hockey, no matter how bad they are, they pack that place. People are passionate. And God, when they're good, I mean, the signs, you saw people like hugging strangers. They are here with Eagle fans. So, I'm just ecstatic for those people. I watch the Flyers. I maybe watch maybe a third to quarter to a third of their games every year. But for the people that watch every single game that go, man, it's so cool to see because I see myself in 2022 when the Phillies made this improbable run, and I know that elation they're feeling, and it's so I'm happy for Flyer fans too.
Yeah. Me as well. I mean, we know the feelings. I mean, they probably know the feeling as well, just to a lower extent because they're hockey guys first or hockey fans first. But with all this going on, I just wonder how is FIFA gonna see this? Like, see the city of Philadelphia partying and ban tailgating? I had to throw that in there.
Did you see the follow up?
No.
CBS got a hold of somebody at FIFA. For comment, and they're already starting to walk it back because I don't know if somebody in there, if one of their like U.S. contingencies came in there and explained to them the concept of Philadelphia, but somebody learned that, hey, it's not a good idea to tell these particular group of people not to do something because that was never going to happen.
No.
Never. You're not going to find enough Aramark employees or Spectacor employees to go police that. You cannot stop Philadelphia from tailgating.
You cannot. But at least on the, if that were to happen, at least you go to Xfinity or, Live Casino.
Yeah.
If you did it in New York, MetLife is just parking lots. It's parking lots as far as the eye can see.
Yeah. No, Philly, It doesn't happen all that often. We're kind of little brother, and I get that. I hate it, but I get it. Philly is kind of dunking on NYC right now. Well, really New Jersey in terms of this World Cup. SEPTA hasn't announced any fare increases, so it's still, depending on the line, $2.90 to $12.90 to get to the stadiums. They're walking tailgating back, and then you look up the turnpike, and New Jersey's like $100 tickets, $200 parking. They're only running trains from these certain locations. Like it's a mess over there. And Philly, which we don't often do, is coming out pretty squeaky clean.
Yeah, and this could be an all-time summer for Philly. The Phillies need to get hot. Trust me on that one. But you have the World Cup coming in. You have Dana White announcing the first UFC event in 15 or so years. It's a big card too. The All-Star game, the home run derby. This is an all-time summer for the city. I'm so excited, but there's one thing, and you just switched the title. That's bringing me down, man.
Well, because you're right. It's an all-time Philly year, and we're just talking about the sports side of things. It is also the nation's 250th, which of course they're hosting in Philly because it's where it all started. So there's a concert series coming to Philly. There's FIFA. There's all the All-Star festivities. There's UFC. Like Philadelphia is going to be on the world stage all summer, and the vibes would just be through the roof if we had a team worth a damn when July rolls around. Because look, the Flyers, no matter what they do, can't save us then. The Sixers can't save us then. The Eagles haven't really started. So the city's sports fandom hinges on the Phillies, and it looks like the window that we thought might have been able to be pried open for maybe one more year might have slammed shut in 25, and we were just kidding ourselves.
Yeah, remember how I said the copium and the hope? Yeah. I think we both swung too far the other way with the cope, because this core is just getting older. Kyle's fine.
Kyle's great. Bryce has been playing well.
It's just
I'll tell you who else is off the hook before we go in on the guys who aren't. Brandon Marsh, great season thus far. Crawford, way better than expected.
Yep.
Now you can begin.
Now you can begin. I'm gonna cut Bohm a lot of slack, because that whole lawsuit suing your parents is horrible, and I'll let him off the hook. That sounds super stressful to sue your parents over mismanaging your funds. So I kind of get why he's slumping, but everyone else, that JT Realmuto contract, why do we do it? I don't know.
He might be over the hill, unfortunately.
2 more years after this.
Yeah. Then you got, JT's decrepit, unfortunately. When we got to start having a serious conversation about being honest about who Bryson Stott is. He's been in the league too long to think, okay, well, he's a young guy. He's going to figure it out. He ain't that young, and he's been here long enough to figure it out.
Yeah. He's the whole Aiden Miller thing with the back. I think that's kind of slowing that role a lot. But yeah, it's about time. Like we've cycled through the blame on everyone when it came to Stott. We've cycled through the coaching. We've cycled through, oh, he's young, he just needs more time. We've been through the ringer. And now it feels like the excuses have to end, because
he's gotten worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a time where he was a 5th, 6th hole hitter. He was hitting high 2s, a little bit of pop. How long ago does that grand slam against the Marlins feel now?
Man, feels like a lifetime ago, because I still see replays of that in my feed like every other day, because they were silent when he hit it. They were just singing the music, and all-time moment. But all good things must come to an end, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think we'll get to Rob, because I think I love Rob, but he's on thin ice. I think this season, especially the way things are going. But even he's had to realize it a little bit more than years prior, because you're seeing more Sosa at bats. It's becoming almost a true platoon, where they're finding time between Stott and Bohm to get Sosa more swings. And I don't mind it because at least he's exciting. There is a chance that he does something. I'm trying to remember what night it was, but it was the ninth inning. Got runners in scoring position, Bohm coming up. I could have turned the TV off. I knew. I mean, there's just no way this guy comes through. And there's too many of those guys. Bohm falls into that category. Stott falls into that category. Real Muto falls into that category. There's 3 almost auto outs on this team right now.
Mm-hmm. I do have to shout out Adolis' fielding. I was just looking at his baseball savant rating. I just wanted to check that it was good as I thought it was. It absolutely was.
Do you see that piss missile from right to third?
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen fans, tweeting out, like, debating how many runs a differential would it be with Castellanos out there compared to Adolis.
Oh God, yeah.
So it's a fair comparison, but he needs to turn around on the hitting, but it's been okay. It's not been.
Yeah, I think last I looked, he was like to mid 2s. I think. I mean, I haven't looked in a couple days.
It feels like the 1-year deal that Dave got right. This feels like the one, man. You see, does Jordan Romano still have a 0 ERA, by the way?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Adolis is hitting. Yeah, he's dropped since I last seen him. He's sitting around 230 now, which is fine if there was a little bit more pop. The 2 homers isn't blowing me away.
Yeah, that was at Coors too, wasn't it?
Yeah. But the fielding, you're right. It's a look. Look, we were paying Castellanos $20 million for pretty similar production. Way worse in the field, a little bit better average. It's a $10 million outfielder deal. His ceiling's high. He makes cool throws. I'll live with it.
It hasn't been bad with him. It's been okay. With that contract and everything attached to it, like, he's been good. I can't complain there. It's just about everything else that we could complain about.
Yeah, the starting rotation is worth mentioning. I still think it's going to turn out to be a strength for this team. Caleb Cotham to the Phillies is what Jeff Stoutland is to the Eagles, was to the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's amazing he's not a manager yet. I'm sure it's going to happen. But, Wheeler, I think, is still a couple weeks away easily. He's still in Double-A. He's getting hit around a little bit in Double-A, so he's still kind of sharpening things up. But we need him. Sanchi's been himself. He's going to be consistent. It hasn't been a Cy Young caliber year yet for him, but Paul Skeens has been funny too. It's been a weird start, but Sanchi will be fine. Nola's been fine. He's given you about 5.5, 6 innings a game, about 3 earned. He's been Aaron Nola. He's been fine. I think where you're hurting a little bit is this looks like that midseason version of Luzardo, and we paid him as if he was end of the year Luzardo.
Yeah, I think that'll stabilize, because if you look at the advanced stats, like it's FIP, it's basically events that the pitcher controls, and it's pretty low. So, like, he'll rebound. I'm okay. I'm not panicking yet. I don't even have, like, the how they open the button.
Yeah.
I don't even have the thing opened yet. Like, I'm not even tempted to hit it. He's gonna be fine.
I'm with it. I'm not opening it yet, but I'm milling around the area. Like, I'm pacing around the button, I think, getting ready to open it. And it's just because, it's the same signs that were a problem last year. So when you look at his ERA, runners on versus clean bases, it skyrockets at runners on. And guys are hitting like 346. You can check on that, but it's close. 346 against his fastball. That, you would like for him to be able to get out ahead in counts with his fastball, and people are teeing off against it, which again was an issue last year. So there's just a couple of things where when he got rocked last year, we saw bad with runners on, fastball was getting tagged. And then this year I'm seeing he's bad with runners on and his fastball is getting tagged. It's just, I thought we fixed this.
Yeah, I thought we did too. It's just I'm confident that he's going to come back around and stabilize a little bit. He's not an 80 ERA guy because what is it 7.94 or something like that?
Yeah, it's a been a bumpy start. I mean, it's
It's
a couple starts, but it's been a bumpy start.
yeah.
Uh,
So
and
I mean, there's a lot more that we could talk about with the Phillies, but we
yeah,
got
and I
1 week
want to
till a big event, and we could switch our focus across the parking lot.
yes. For 1 minute, I think we both got to just Rob's been bad, right? Rob's been
Oh,
bad.
I forgot about Rob. We could say that. Yeah, he's been bad. Remember, I've been clamoring for Howie Kendrick for so long on this podcast.
Yes. Well, you might get your wish here sooner than
I don't
later.
know if I want to because that just means the Phillies are doing bad. And like, I just think Howie Kendrick's gonna. Oh gosh, I'm gonna say it. He's gonna do what Rob did the first time around, and everything's gonna magically be okay. But yeah,
We're going to table that because that's a worthwhile conversation. So not next week, but the week after, we're going to get back to that.
we're gonna have time to discuss this. They're not gonna make
No.
any rash moves on Rob before we do another show before
No.
the draft and everything. So we're fine.
But I think that would have the reverse effect. I think the players love Rob, and that would kill the vibes. The players hated Girardi.
It could. It very well could.
But across the parking lot, in about a week, we are going to find out what draft day miracles Howie was able to pull off, because every year there are a couple. I think I've been hearing a lot of talk about, AJ Brown is as good as gone. And I'm kind of jumping on board because the moves have shown that Howie's preparing himself for that reality. I still don't think it's happening on draft night. Howie is about his money. He does not waste cap. He is not going to deal with that amount of dead money. It'll be a June 1 thing if it happens.
Now, if the Patriots offer 32 in next year's first, then he's going to be forced into it. It's obviously not going to happen, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, it would take a Godfather offer for him to waste.
If he gets it, he'll take it. But like you said, June 1st.
But other than that, who do you have? We're going to do a breakdown of, I think we usually do the first 4 rounds or something. So we'll do that next week, but just real quick.
Wednesday?
Yeah, we'll do it a Wednesday. We might do a Tuesday pod. You and I can work on that one.
Whatever day works. We could.
Yeah.
We'll tweet it out or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we'll let everybody notice. But one name that if one name the casual fan hasn't heard who you think would be a home run Eagle.
Home run on day 1 or
just in general? Like I know you go deep into the draft boards, but if I'm saying somebody who people haven't heard of where you're like, this was a big deal, he's going to contribute.
That's a great question. Because if you would have asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have said Chris Johnson, but he's not. They don't need a corner, and and he's getting steamed into the first round anyway. I would have said Malachi Lawrence on the edge potentially 2 weeks ago. He's in the first round now, so a lot of these sleeper guys are finding themselves into the first round. But a sleeper guy that, I mean, I would go with Sam Roush. I've seen him mock the Eagles a couple of times.
Okay.
He's a tight end. He had a 9.98 RAS score, I believe. I just want to make sure I'm getting the right school because I'm mistaken schools most of the time. I believe it's Nebraska. I believe I'm right. Stanford, same colors. See, that's how I got it mixed up. No, nothing because we drafted Zach Ertz, but he could block. He could catch the ball, and I think he's like a late day 2, early day 3 kind of guy. That if Eagles want to address after Goddard, I'm fully in on that. There's a couple other guys. John Michael Gillenborg could do the same out of Wyoming. So tight end is where the money is really going to be made in this draft class. It's where it's really deep. It's deep at tight end. It's deep at corner. It's deep at safety. It's deep at edge rusher too. So, and wide receiver, of course. So how we kind of shaped this out to what the Eagles may need in the near future or need right now, like a safety, Emmanuel McNeil-Warren in day 1 would be excellent. Another Toledo guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you where before Tariq Woolen, I think we were both kind of like, we need somebody on the outside opposite Q. Now that's not the case. Although I wouldn't mind going corner later because we're going to find ourselves in this position again next year. We're not going to pay Woolen but I would love to see us take a decent swing at safety.
Yeah, I agree. And With corner, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But if somehow Jermon McCoy's medicals allow him to slip, I don't think it's going to happen. But just put it in the back of your brain, like the very back part that you barely keep the conscience of it. If he falls, he has lockdown CB1 tape. 2024 tape is some of the better tape I've seen overall. He could be another guy, one of those dudes with Q and Coop long term. So if the medicals cause him to fall, I don't think they will. But there's a couple medical red flag guys that I'm really watching out, including Jordan Tyson at wide receiver. I think he goes top 10 though. It's one of those things where the medicals are kind of getting ignored because the draft class is kind of the quality's kind of down compared to next year. It's going to be interesting to see.
Okay. I'm gonna have to do a lot of brushing up. I've been slacking this year.
Do you want me to shoot you a text of who to watch?
No. The part of the fun of this is we take such completely different approaches. Like I want to keep it that way.
That's fair, but I'd watch Thieneman from Oregon.
Okay.
Good deep safety. His range is all over the place. Schrager had him at 30. I've seen a lot of mocks have him at 12 to Dallas or 10 to Cincinnati as a ceiling. So his range is very wide. Maybe Howie might like him in a trade up or a trade back, depending on how his stock is. I think we could kiss the Caleb Downstream goodbye.
Yeah, that's gone
officially, but it's tough. What are you going to do? I think he goes early, but Thieneman and McNeil Warren are two you got to keep your eye on with Howie, and then I'd say for wide receiver it's Mekhi Lemon.
Okay,
he's the guy that might make it.
But I always enjoy every year the meticulous Excel spreadsheets versus that boy nice ball watcher approach.
We love that. Hey, we both landed. What was it? 2 years ago, we both landed on Q. We both landed on Coop.
Yeah,
completely different processes, and look how that turned out. It turned out in a Super Bowl.
So we'll see if magic strikes twice. But be on the lookout from a tweet. We will let people know with at least 72 hours notice what night we're going to be doing our draft coverage. It'll probably be a little bit of a longer episode, maybe 45 minutes or so. So just be aware of that. Ryan will get to work. I'll procrastinate and deal with it on Monday. But until such a time, I'm Brandon. He's Ryan. This is the Passing Report. We'll see you next week.